Hello, everybody. How y'all doing out there? Now, I know you're like, what is she doing going live right now? And to all my Omi homies, please don't kill me because I did not send y'all a text message letting you know I was going to go live. But I decided to do this one because why not? We can do what we want, and I'm living life. And if you missed it, you can always look at the live section of the YouTube at the Omi Show, and you can also look at go to look at all the clips at Becoming Omi or at Omi Bell on Instagram. So well, actually, at Becoming Omi is where these will go. As you know, I've been doing these live interviews with amazing people from the wellness ecosystem. And so I'm so excited to keep those going. The 3B Society. So 3B stands for body, business. The 3Bs are body, business, and belonging. And it's because I feel like we should be able to live an integrated life, right? We have people tell us so many times, like, team no sleep, grind culture and all this, like, hustle till I die. Well, like, that's not how I actually want to die. So I'm deciding, like, what else is possible? What else can we put together? How else can we be? Not how are you doing, but how are you being? And thinking about it from the standpoint of, you don't have to have your business over there and then your body is failing and then you check on it when you can. It's like, no, how do we live a life where all things are welcome and it can be joyful? The 3B Society is a community for the ambitious and the curious, people juggling more than one thing, tired of feeling tired, and done buying into hustle culture as the answer. We have been told that we had to choose between ambition and rest, between success and the body, between building something and belonging somewhere. And I am saying no to that. And that is not true. And we don't have to do that. And my guest for today, I'm excited to bring her up so we can get into a lot of conversation to one, lay out some definitions of things for folks. And then, like, we just gonna, she's super amazing. Had a chance to meet her in person. Love her energy, love her vibe. But I will read her bio because I like for everybody to put some respect on everybody's names because we out here doing real work in the world. You should know what those things are. Ruby is a founder and boss witch at The Shift, a company with a mission to help close the wellness gap by joyfully reclaiming our magic. She uses the Akashic Records, tarot, breathwork, and energy healing to guide people home to their truth and infinite power. Rather than fortune telling your future, her approach is rooted in self empowerment to remind you that you create your own. Her popular readings are widely embraced for a positive and uplifting approach that provides great support through clarity, insight, and guidance. Ruby is a resident intuitive reader at Anima Mundi Apothecary and Mystic Journey Bookstore. She's also the lead wellness practitioner at the Preserve, formerly the Second Home Hollywood, and has worked with celebrities, nonprofits, and companies such as Skims, Shiseido, and Neuhaus. So I'm excited coming to the stage. I am welcoming Ruby Shane Nichols. Hello.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. And do you have on green as well? Is that what I'm seeing? You know what?
I
It's the
don't really
vibes.
know what it is. It's like a gray, greenish color. I'm also sad because I feel like my name, I was like, oh, I wore this necklace, but it's being blocked by the name
Oh,
on
okay.
the screen.
We'll
I was like,
we'll
I can't
later
do
out we'll figure a way to move that out the way. Okay. So we can make
it.
sure that everybody sees the glory.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me. And I really it's important to me to bring like this education to different communities because I feel like we've just forgotten our ancestral roots and I'm not forgotten in no choice of our own, but been conditioned out of based off of commercialization of what it means to be a medicine woman or what it means to be healed and things like that and sort of the saturation of the idea of wellness and like what that means, the oversaturation. So talk to me about the moment you decided that this was going to be your life. So prior to you becoming a practitioner, a guide,
Mhm.
what were you doing? What were you
Ooh,
doing with your life?
yeah, it's a big question. I'll start just by sharing that I started my career, whatever, right? My work life, my adult work life in advertising as a brand strategist. So I worked at an ad agency, I guess like you, which I loved hearing your personal story of just like your career and life journey. Mine has also taken a lot of twists and turns, but I started there for like 8 years. I so resonate deeply with everything you're sharing and why you're doing this because a big reason I left advertising was total burnout, which almost everybody I know working in that industry and a lot of industries feel. When I left, I was physically broken with like crazy stress hives and like was sick for 2 months, and
Oh
I
my
just
God.
body like broke down. Yeah. um, Also because I was ignoring a lot of emotional things, which I realized later, right? And that all plays into our physical health. So I left that and started my own business. Just wanted to create, like, explore more creatively. So I started like a travel and style focused company. It was like fun for me to do. And I did that for about 10 years, called the Almanac, when I also had two babies within that time. So it was a very start stop journey. But that was fun. And then, I did that for a while. And then it was in 2020, which I'm hearing from so many people was like, that was a big pivotal turning point for a lot of people. So in 2020, um, well, sorry, let me back up real quick and just share that I had always been obsessed with everything mystical, anything paranormal, like anything in this space. As a child, I was in Barnes and Noble for hours and hours, like only in the New Age section.
Mm,
That. And I had gotten a lot of readings and stuff, but I really only started reconnecting with all of that and getting kind of receiving care and healing, receiving readings and things after having my first child. So motherhood is really like what cracked me open and reconnected me again, because it was, I'm not going to lie, a dark time. It was a
mm,
very difficult time that we know women don't talk about enough. So I was definitely depressed and going through it the first 2 years, but it reconnected me to that. So I would say in 2016 to 2020, it started me on this deep healing journey for like those 4 years where I just explored and was exposed to all kinds of things. It's where I learned about the Akashic records first, learned about EFT, emotional freedom tapping, received acupuncture, all the things, got readings. I never thought would have the ability to like do that myself. I was like, oh,
mm,
I personally enjoy and I'll do it on the side, but like I can't do that for other people. And then in 2020, speaking of ancestral things, I received the guidance through an Akashic reading that I received to try doing Qigong, which I saw my grandmother, my very Buddhist grandmother, doing every morning of her life at like 6 in the morning. That was my connection to it. Never would have thought to really try it myself. I was like, okay, sure. So just did it for like 10 minutes in my backyard, kind of every other day. And as I was doing that, just started receiving clear messages. And
mm,
it was like the trees were like talking to me. I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, but they were so clear. And it also was like, it doesn't sound like me, but I could feel the love and the energy of it. And it was
mm,
life changing and supportive. So I kind of discovered in 2020, like, oh, I can kind of tap into the records. As I was receiving those messages, one of them was open your own Akashic records, open your own records.
mm.
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, you saying that, I didn't even know that you can open your own. I don't know why. First of all, I don't know why I didn't know that, but like, I didn't know you could open your own records. And I want to get into like what the Akashic records are for those who are like, what are they talking about? But like, yeah, I have not actually tried to do that. Like, is there a training? Is there
Um,
how does it? So there's tarot, right? Or tarot. I don't know how people usually
yeah,
tomato
I would
tomato.
say tarot. I don't know if it's correct, but
And then there's intuitive readings, spiritual readings, all kinds of different readings that people do.
Mhm.
And I've gotten just about all of them. I'm super woo woo. I'm always like, tell me what's going on with me. Um, and I can hear myself. So I think there's things.
Yeah,
But for the Akashic records specifically, it's one that's been very, very mystical for me. I haven't really gotten a good understanding of like what it is exactly, and
yeah,
like and how it all works, and like how do you become a receiver or opener of it. So
right.
can we how do you feel? Can we get into that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's probably the number one question. People are like, Aka what? Like, what are you talking about? Now it's gotten much more popular, even in the last like 5 years. But I also, when I
Mm,
got introduced to it, I had never heard of it. The quickest, easiest definition I tell people of like what the Akashic records are is it's just a record of your soul's entire journey, is like the easiest baseline definition, because it is very ethereal and I would say hard to define and describe, but it's a record of your soul's journey. And so, of course, I always tell people, like, of course, it's yours. It's literally a record of your soul. So of course you are the number one person who would be able to access it, right, and tap in. And bringing that back, this is like part of the issue I kind of found as I started getting into the wellness industry was people gatekeeping and making you feel like you need them to access this
Mm.
magic that is fucking yours, right? That is your birthright and your soul. So my answer to that is like absolutely everyone accesses it. I also think of it as just like a frequency where all information lives and is stored. So that's why it's called like the records. It's really interesting that it's not only your own personal one, but there is a record of everything. It's like the earth has its own Akashic record of like since it's like creation, right? When it started. You can read the records or open the records for pets and animals. You can do it for places.
Really?
Yeah, you can do it for like a business too, like the birth of when a business forms, because I always believe things come from, you know, spirit ultimately, right? So you can open it for all these things. And I would say there are courses and things you could technically, I guess, get certified. I don't think it's necessary to be honest. Um, I sort of felt like I stumbled upon it and yeah, clearly it's something I was meant to work with. There is something I will say that's like it has a very cosmic origin. I don't know how else to describe it or just like a cosmic connection too. So I do find most people who like resonate with it probably also like resonate with just very galactic cosmic things.
Mm.
You probably are very much believe in interdimensional beings and things like that.
Mm.
So there's something, and there's a belief that it's very connected to the Pleiades like star system that's sort of believed as to be like our cousin, you know, of humans and Earth. But yeah, it's a frequency where information lives. And to me, I feel like every person, anytime you're tapping into your intuition and receiving information of any kind, I actually believe it's all coming from there, like from the same place. So we actually all, I think, are accessing the records all the time. It's sometimes defined or called like the collective consciousness too. So it's just like information that's there that we can all like grab and tap into, if that makes sense.
Yeah, when I was reading your bio, one of the things I think I love about your approach is it seems like you're almost maybe gearing toward like demystifying the mystical in a sense that like it's we have ownership over it
Yeah.
and like the reclaiming our magic and joyful parts I really love because again, it's just been so much commercialization around what you can and cannot know and what you can and cannot do. I also think it's interesting that you have Akashic Records, which is the storage piece, and then you have the tarot pieces, which is like sort of like current state and future piece. Do they tie? So with the Akashic Records, is it like everything from yesterday back? Or is it like literally everything from 5 minutes ago back? Like, is there like a storage it's like
It's
the ultimate cloud.
right. Cloud storage. Literally cloud cosmic storage. I love that. Cloud storage. Honestly, it's everything backwards and forwards, which I think is like a little mind blowing for us. It's
Oh.
like this weird mind fuck for humans to try to wrap our heads around because as you probably know this as a mystical witch yourself, time is not
Yeah.
I always say it's not linear like it is here, and it is very quantum, and it is kind of all things at once. So because of that, we say it's a record of all things, like past, present, and future. And in some ways, it's like happening kind of at the same time.
All these timelines.
Yeah,
What type of state? Because when you talk about reaching certain frequencies,
yeah.
I get that fully.
Mhm.
And so how are you like how do you have to be as a person? And like even when I met you, we were in like an environment with a lot of people. Like
Yeah,
is I mean, but now I think you've been doing it for so long and you're an expert at it, so it's natural to you. But is there like a state of frequency that you have to concentrate on yourself being in and how is that related to your life? Like how do you live
it's a good
your
question.
life?
Yes, I would say yes. It is very much a frequency shift. I mean, it's similar, I would say, to everything you know as well. And the reason I know that you are very tapped into things is like experiencing even the breath work that you led. By
Mm.
the way, I kept wanting to talk to you about that, but just I could feel how you yourself were like very embodied and present in this other sort of state of being, right?
Mm.
So it's similar. I feel like it's all similar and in the same vein of like maybe when you're doing breath work or whether you're leading it or doing it yourself, meditating, it's a similar state to what they talk about in there. But for me, I have led courses. I think one that I did that I still love and have a lot of heart for is called Magic School, which is literally helping people kind of it's like people who can feel they're right at that edge of like, I know I probably am intuitive and can tap in, but I just need a little extra support. For me, personally, this is not everyone's case, but I didn't realize how much like emotional baggage I was carrying.
Mm.
I think a lot of it for me is like also cultural background, right? It's like not only society telling us that our emotions are like scary and dangerous and to not, feel them. Then I have the cultural piece, which is like with Asian people, it's like sweep it under the rug, repress, like shove it down, shove it down. So I didn't realize like I was sitting on a lifetime of that stuff, which by the way is partially why I left that job so sick, right? It was like it all
Mm.
hit a boiling
Mm.
point where it was like, you cannot continue anymore. It was literally, I mean, I was kind of, it's like a slow death, right? You are kind of dying when you're not
That's right.
addressing these things. So I had to clear out. I now know looking back, it happened for me in the exact divine time that it needed to. I needed like 4 years of deep healing, like deeply healing for me, my relationship with my emotions, first and foremost, because I couldn't feel any of them. And to me, like, I'll share this because it still stays with me. One of the most beautiful messages I received that first time I entered the records. I felt when I was saying the prayer, because you say an opening and a closing prayer, and it's all done by intention, right? Like, it's just consent and intention to enter and connect with this frequency. But when I said the prayer, it's just like tears started streaming down because it felt like coming home.
Mm.
I was told, like, just be here, like, we just want you to sit here and be in this frequency and just like feel what it feels like. And they're like, oh, it's like you're learning a new language. It's a language of feeling. And I always say that is truly just what intuition is, because it's a feeling and a sensing in all the ways, emotionally, physically, right? Using these other senses. And I realized, like, oh, no wonder I couldn't really access this state because I had repressed and numbed myself to all of that. So it took 4 years of like, to me, it was almost like clearing out my container, my vessel. And a lot of deep shit came up that like was not fun to feel. But it took me that long. So like I do tell people it can be a process. It takes the time it takes. And I feel like when you're ready, um, to really be in that state, then you're ready. But I definitely think we all have the capacity to, it's probably
Yeah. And you
setting.
know what? I also think that there's a lot of people who will see this, which is why I'm glad we're having these conversations,
Yeah.
that have been having these feelings. To your point about the magic school, right? To your point about the people who are like, they're on the edge, they're having these feelings, nobody around them is seemingly having them, and they can't talk to anybody about it. And
Right.
they may be, they may be hearing messages, they may be clairvoyant, they may be clairaudient. They don't know,
Yeah.
they don't know what's happening.
That's
And they
scary.
got to know they're not crazy, right? And I think
It's
so.
scary
That's
and isolating. It's honestly can be a very isolating feeling experience.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
funny, where I think I am. So
Yeah.
in my journey, which is why part of why I'm creating this, I have, and you mentioned 10 years before. I thought it was interesting too. So I've been building my company for 10 years.
Mm,
This is our 10th year. And thank you. And I'm called to
mhm.
and evolving toward just spending the majority of my time being a wellness practitioner. What does that mean? And delivering breath work and I think journaling practices, which mean a lot to me because that's how I channel.
Yes.
And it's interesting because the guy who's a medium, that Tyler, can't remember his last name,
Oh,
but
yes. Just
he
Tyler
just draws them.
Cumming with the show?
Yeah, something like that. He just draws on paper.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
I so understand that.
Mhm.
Like I saw him doing that and I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense to me.
Yeah,
Because that's how my channeling works. And
yeah.
I think what's interesting, so I feel like where I am is there's the people who are like, I might have something. What am I doing there? Teeter on that line. I
Mhm.
am like what you described about what you felt, and we should definitely talk about the breath work. But what you described about what you felt, I feel that when I'm doing it, like I can feel it. But what I'm trying to work through is I don't know. It's like have you ever? I mean, you may experience this. It's like you got the gift or the thing,
Mhm.
and now I'm like, my brain says businesswoman. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
monetize, figure it out, scale it, package it, boop 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 boop.
Right. And also, how do you even like talk about it? It's like, how do you translate what you do? I think that's a big part of it. As with my advertising
Absolutely.
background, I get it.
Absolutely. And
Always,
how
yeah.
do I translate it so people can, because I know what it feels like when I'm in it.
Yeah.
And how do you even, and I've tried to do some of that through video, like there's some video, but even with that, I get a little, I don't want cameras in people's faces while they're going through this very vulnerable moment that I know the state that I'm putting them in. And even through thinking about the right partnerships, like I want to partner in certain ways, but the state that I'm putting people in, you can't interrupt in that moment because they're in a space and I'm purposely wanting them to stay there, right? So it's like
Right.
working through like what all these things mean. So what I'm saying is, how did you get to the point where got the gift, hear the thing, and you fully embodied it every day?
Yeah.
Like I'm fully when I'm in it, I'm in it. And
Yeah.
then like one week I'm like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. And then
Right.
next week I'm like,
Like,
is
I'm so
somebody out there?
connected.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
So how did you get
Yeah.
to that point of embodiment?
I think it's, first of all, it's a constant process. Even, and it's like we're all human. So it's like I have days too. And I think it's important to give ourselves like the grace and the space to know that our relationship with spirit and our connection with spirit is also going to ebb and flow like every other freaking thing in life. So I think it's a human thing to always be like, I've arrived. It's like we're always looking for like, oh, what is it like to get to that
Mm,
point where you just own it? And I will say it's taken years for me to like fully embody it. One thing is just like doing it enough to know that even when one message I kept receiving is like, even when you don't feel connected, because trust me, there are times when it's like, oh my God, am I a fraud? Because like I don't know how connected I feel in this moment, and I'm like doing this thing, and is it real? Am I making it up? Whatever. I would keep getting the message, that like even when you don't feel connected, just know that you are, because
mm,
this because like we literally are source. We literally are, like, there is no separation, and it's a feeling. Like feelings are fleeting, they come and go, and there's going to be feelings and days when like we don't feel the connection or whatever, but we can never like break that. It's always there. So I think one, it's a process. Two, it's like doing it enough, putting in the hours, right? It's that thing of like when you've done something, what does Malcolm Gladwell say or whatever? It's like 100
mm.
hour, way more than that, maybe. Um, Thousands of hours of doing,
10,000 hours.
yeah, 10,000 hours. It's like it's a confidence thing too. It's like, okay, I've like done this enough. Um, so that helped me. And I will say, even in recent years, working, like doing this part time as a reader just kind of forced me to do it, even on days when I don't feel that connected, even on days when I'm not really in the mood or whatever. You just do it. It's like showing up to the mat thing, right? You just do it. And you will inevitably become more embodied because your body is
Mm.
doing it physically.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah. And I think the
yeah. I
tools
guess
help.
you know what too. I got to rethink that question when I ask people that, because you know what you just made me think of. Nobody has ever asked me. Well, nobody ever asked in a role like, when did you know you were a great advertising professional? You know what I mean? Like, when did you know you were? When did I know I was a CEO for real? I mean, people.
Mhm.
I have had that question in certain ways, but it's like you're doing the thing, and you are being what makes sense to do the thing, and then you're embodying what that looks like. And so it's a
Yeah.
little bit bigger of a responsibility and assignment, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's an assignment for you?
For me, it does. And I will also say, because I think this is important to know, that moment when it came in 2020, right? And I felt really connected. It felt really good. I started going into opening my own records like maybe every other day. I did it for a while, but it took me 8 months, like almost a year before I got up the courage to read for one other person. Feel
Mm.
right, like the whole imposter syndrome or whatever, just having the confidence to do it for one other person. So like it took time to work up to that too. Um, yeah,
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Um, because I think the process, it's good for people to know like that there is a process and that it kind of you will go through it and you'll be fine. Okay, like
yeah, it's
you'll
like
go through it and you'll be fine.
yes, yes.
Is there a limit? Is there any rule? Are there like any cosmic rules around the records?
So actually, yeah, it's a good question. See, you're very intuitive, I think, for asking that. Because interestingly, I don't think I've gotten that question.
Well,
But
you know what? I'm so all about. I'm a very curious person, but I never want to disrespect.
it's like
Like
keeping
I never want to.
it.
Yeah, I
Yes,
never want to disrespect spirit in the way that it is designed to flow or supposed to flow. But there are some ways where, like, to your point of, who's telling you you can't open your own records? There are some rules that people have given me that are like,
right.
you want me to call you to do it, and that might be why.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think, I mean, the only one that I've kind of been told that I still honor because I feel like it's honoring the sacredness of it and this, just the seriousness. Like part of why it took me so long to read for one other person is I felt this incredible weight of responsibility on me. I was like, it feels
Mm,
like such a huge responsibility that I understand how like important and sacred it is. But the one kind of rule is like because it is so deeply personal, it's like your own records. I mean, I supposedly can't read for anyone under 18. I can't open the records
mm,
for like children because it's a consent based thing. Like I said, it's all consent and intention. So what's interesting about the records, because people ask too, like astrology, right? You need like a birth date or it's based off of your birth date and time. Like I don't need any information at all. It's truly fully just consent and intention. It's like, do I have your full permission and consent? And now we're going to set the intention to connect. So yeah, I can't read for children and I've honored that. That's why it's also helpful though that I work with tarot. So I'm able to, still do intuitive readings, but I don't like officially open their records. And like I said, the pathway, it's called like a pathway prayer to the records is like an opening one and then a closing one is kind of how I've always seen it done. So again, it's like, and like I said, we're all kind of always tapping in sometimes, but it's just a more direct and intentional way of like, okay, I'm going to like fully work with it now. And you can receive more information when you say the prayer. And it's like, I'm going to sit and connect with you. And then I'm going to close. And for anyone who might be curious about being a practitioner for it, I would say, it is really important. The one advice I got when I started reading for other people is like, even saying the closing prayer, it sometimes wasn't quite enough to like fully close the door.
mm.
So I've been given kind of additional things and I'm very like vigilant about the cleansing before, the cleansing after. And there's a clean break so that I have boundaries around it because people are also always like, are you just walking around like receiving information? And I'm like, no, especially with the records, I like how defined it is. I like that it's like, no, somebody gave me permission and they're asking me to tap in, so I will now. Otherwise, I don't really want to receive information. That's the
Yeah, I've asked friends. I have a highly intuitive friend. I've asked that too. Like, are you just walking around? And she kind of described it. Well, you described it as the open and closing for the Akashic records, but she kind of described it as more like a soundtrack. So like way back. So like it's not that I'm not always bringing to the forefront what I'm
yeah,
hearing. It's like sometimes it's like way back there. You're not even listening to it all the way. And
yeah.
the more I get even to my practice, the more I see that. What are you doing any courses or classes? I love magic school, by the way.
I know.
Um,
I've been trying to like thinking and working towards bringing around. I think I actually did around three of it back in a different form. And I've been seeing that it's just been coming up with a lot of clients that I've read for who are like right at that space of like on the edge, I feel like, of embracing their magic more fully. So yeah, that would be, I would say, the closest next one. I was toying with like the language of spirit and how to speak it, because that's really been coming through. It's just like it really is based, I guess, on the message I received when I first went in. Is like it's kind of like learning a new language, and like you said, you've already experienced. It's like learning how to like tune in more and tune out. And even that first question you're asking of like how do you kind of live in this state, it's like it is a constant sort of practice and like weaving in and out of of that space and like learning how to like, okay, I'm going to tune in more now and turn it up, and okay, I'm going to
Mm,
turn it back now, and let it be a little more in the background. It's a very
yeah.
subtle, nuanced thing, you know.
Yeah. The level of like social emotional intelligence or care that you have for people, um, and empathy that you have for people, I would say is immense. And so like that is honorable to because it's a moment to sit with people that way. And so I think like that's literally everything. The care, and I think that's something that when you get into your heart about it, right, with this work, is one of the things that I'm leaning into more too. Is like in that moment, the person is almost like they're in my hands in a way, and I take that very
Yeah,
seriously.
exactly.
And so yeah, I think it's one of those things. Why do you think people should tap into their magic? What do you why is it important for people to tap into their magic?
Ooh, gosh, we could do a whole episode on this. I mean, I got so fired up about this about a year into this work. Like I said, I don't know if are you based in LA, by the way? You said you're
Yeah, I'm here.
okay. Oh, we should totally meet up outside.
No, let's do it
No.
for sure.
Um, but when I started getting into this was like 2021, right? I noticed very quickly that it felt very one dimensional to me. I will say the wellness space specifically in LA, right? Because it's like very West Side, I'm just going to say it's like white wellness, felt one dimensional.
Absolutely.
So I got fired up. And frankly, I know that it's my ancestors that got super fucking loud at this time.
Mm.
And to me, I'm just like, it's our birthright. I mean, period. Like, it's just yet another thing. It's so clear to me that it's another thing that got colonized, that has been stolen, that has been repressed, because it is the most fucking powerful thing that we have. When I say it's our magic, like I like using the word magic because there's a sense of like play and joy. And I always say joy is also our birthright, right? And it's also my resistance. All of these things, like it's literally our spirit. All of these things, the magic of just like our spirit and our souls, that really is something that can never be taken from us, truly. So especially in these times, I mean, when the world is falling apart, that's why, to your question of like, does it feel like kind of a calling, I think is what, the sentiment of what you were asking. Very much yes. For me, because to me there kind of is no more important work than that.
There is no more important work. I love that.
Yeah, than to
That
save
hit me. That got me. That got me. Because I think that the work I've done for it, like over the last 10 years, it has felt to people very, and to me, a very important work.
yeah,
And what I'm hearing, and when I ask these questions about like what, it's like, hey, there's bigger work actually. Like, hey, there's
yeah,
actually more work. There's different work. There's bigger work, and there's
yeah,
different work on the same people. And I think that right now, that if you're a light worker in any sense, I strongly believe that the ancestors, God is an all-encompassing word for the universe, is calling you to arms right now. It's
yeah,
calling you out to say, hey, come on, because things have been impacted.
yes,
And I hadn't said this out loud to anyone, but this came to me the other day. I think that the ancestral realm has been attacked and we have not been noticing it. So I think that like what's happening with all of the darkness we're seeing right now, all the
hmm,
things that we're seeing kind of like happen, and we're like, what? Like we're like, what?
yeah. What is
Your
happening?
heck is our heads could spin right now. We're like, what the heck is happening? And it's because somebody in that realm figured out we don't just need to attack the people. We need to attack the ancestral realm.
Oh yes,
And
which is like
so
the root of our power and our,
Yes.
it's the roots.
So some of that realm is under attack as well, and there's a spiritual warfare happening.
Yes.
That there's war happening right now on Earth, but then there's a spiritual warfare happening too. And I believe that, like, for everybody out there, if you're feeling called to whatever light work you do, I
Mm-hmm.
believe that this moment is calling you. Get into your gifts, get into your magic, get into those messages you're hearing, get
Yeah.
into, like, go for it, because it now is a time that we need as much light in
Yes.
the world to continue to be bright, to shine, to sort of to get rid of and to stamp out the darkness that is, like, all around. And I don't want to call the darkness a name. I'll just say that lightly.
Yes. Yes. Amen to all of that. Absolutely. And, we can always look at it as like the blessing that I see in these times is there's so much deep disillusion, right? With all of the powers that have been, everyone who's been up top. I think so many of us have seen now how much we've been lied to.
Mm-hmm.
The number one barrier I would say that I see in people connecting with their magic and their intuition is trusting themselves. Of course. Yeah, it's a
Mm.
constant question of like, but how can I trust it? But how do I trust myself? How do I know it's real? And so to me, it's a kind of a blessing that all these other things that we have put our full trust into have completely crashed and burned and collapsed, because where else can we look now but ourselves? There truly is nowhere else to turn but inward to ourselves, when everyone out there, it seems like, is clear, has been lying to us.
Yeah, 100%. I saw this funny post where this woman said, "Okay, I need y'all to stop trying to give the man the benefit of the doubt and start doubting the benefit of the man."
Yes.
And I said, that
100%. Yes.
okay, it's like, no, you are, at this moment in time specifically, the
Mhm.
most trusted resource you actually have.
Exactly. Like,
You are it.
now it seems absurd to us, right? Like, now that things have been revealed and clear, it's like it seems absurd how much trust, at least to me, how much faith and trust we have put in just like other people, just willy-nilly, like, no, you know what I mean? Just, I'm gonna give them all of my trust and, belief in whatever. It's like, look how easily we gave that away to other people, and we can't give that to ourselves.
And this is why I think the work you're doing is so important, because you're saying we can reclaim it. You're saying we can bring it home. You're saying
Yeah.
there's an opportunity to see it inside of yourself and activate it. So thank you so much for joining me today. This is an awesome conversation. We probably could talk literally all night. We should definitely connect. What'd you say?
So I said, I was like, we'll grab a coffee instead.
Yeah, for sure. We should do it. And you have kids, I have kid.
Yeah,
So we should figure that out, and maybe they align in ages,
I would
and
love
we
that.
can
No,
yeah.
so fun. Thank you just for this opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate
Sure.
it. So check her out at the shift.is on Instagram. Ruby Shang Nichols can also be Googled with Ruby Shang Nichols. Okay. You can go ahead and check out all of these you got going on. I really appreciate you. This is such a lovely conversation. We will talk soon.
Yes. Thank
All
you so
right.
much.
Okay. Have a good rest of your day.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
My heart's full. Like, I feel good. I don't know. Like, talking to Ruby just now, like, I feel like we could really go on some different energy. I've never tried to read my own Akashic records, and I haven't even. You know why? Because I think it feels like such a powerful thing to access. I think I didn't trust myself with it before, but now her talking to her gave me some permission. I think maybe I will look into what that feels like. So thank y'all all out there for listening. If you missed the entire show, it's okay. You can go to at the Omi Show on YouTube. You can look at the live section and you'll see the full video. Also, we'll be putting clips up on at Becoming Omi on Instagram, at Becoming Omi. I think the next time I'm live is it tomorrow? This wasn't my normal live day. All right. So y'all don't get me for that. But we will I will be live on Thursday. So Thursday is the next time I'll be live. So y'all stay tuned. Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your day.